Record. Alright.
Sick work, man.
It worked. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. This is a spoiler, review, and breakdown, Easter eggs, all of that of Miss Marvel episode 2, which is called Crushed. Alright, well, let's get into it. There's a whole list of things to do. I'm still enjoying the show, but
a few things to go through.
Alright, let's go. So starting off with a new confidence. She's obviously got these powers. She's coming to school, all pointing at everyone like a high school kid or whatnot. I feel like that's shit that Jakob used to do when he used to point at people.
Yeah. Dot.
Proper dot style. She corrects the teacher. You remember the gym teacher who kept calling her something else? She correct her with her name. Something. Yeah, so she's feeling confident in herself to be like, no, that's not my name.
That's right.
Say my real name. Interesting, she supports the gay couple. I believe there were a gay couple that were in front of her lockers.
Yeah.
And I think that's a way of kind of showing that, you know, with Muslims, there's this perception of, you know, I don't want to even talk bad, but, you know, we want to do this to gay people and that to gay people and whatnot, right? You've heard about it on the news and whatnot.
That's right.
Listen, in our religion, I'm going to be real with it. Yes, of course it's haram, but of course we respect people as individuals at the end of the day, right? So I think this is just a sign of showing that we respect individuals for who they are and whatnot. So I thought that was quite important. They reference Ant-Man powers. Remember when her and Bruno were talking, they referenced Ant-Man. Ant-Man power. And then Ashraf made a good point because she said that he looked something about to do with young, and that could be a reference to Paul Rudd looking so young. Yeah. Because he looks so young in general anyway.
That's right.
What are it? Homecoming tickets, reference to Spider-Man. I saw that in the background. I mean, it might not be, but it's high school anyway. They have homecoming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Nightlight. So Zoe's making up the stories to the popular one and whatnot, and she made up the name Nightlight. Again, Night Monkey, Spider-Man reference.
Yeah. So kind of keeping it in house.
Same movie. We just saw Homecoming. No, Homecoming was the movie before, right?
That's right. Homecoming, No Way Home.
Yeah.
No.
Far From Home was when they mentioned
That's
Night
right.
Monkey.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Interesting. They keep going with night something.
Yeah.
So it's again. I think it's just college. What do you call it? School kids who are just, you know, trying to think of names or whatnot. But she calls her Nightlight. Kamran. This is the first time they meet this guy called Kamran, which is probably like, well, it looks like the love interest, but until we get to the end, we find out there's more to it than just the love interest.
Yeah.
The tune that I was playing was Mace Bad Boys. I haven't heard that in ages, bro. Big tune, man. Mace, that goes way back. Okay, when she's showing Bruno the powers, you know, when they go into the store downstairs in the basement, whatever, the school, he goes, how does it feel like? And she says, it feels like an idea come to life. Yeah. And you reference Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, yeah.
So that's interesting how they've kind of gone with that. The training montage that they have, I think, is pretty awesome, quite fun. Yeah. Also reminds me of Shazam. Remember the two kids?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That was actually really good. Yeah,
so Shazam, almost maybe a Shazam thing, but maybe it's just what high school kids would do. If we had powers, we'd train as well. Exactly. Well, we're not high school kids, we're grown-ass men, but we'll still have power. We'll still do some training montage. The halal menu I thought was interesting behind my guy Bruno. You know, the food court thing. And I believe that food court thing is supposed to represent Halal Guys, which is a very popular halal chain in the US.
Did you try some
in New York? I did before, not this trip. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the podcast about my New York trip. Check that podcast out. There's a lot to go on about New York. Anyway, halal menu. He tells her, your powers, it looks like your powers are coming from within. She makes a reference to Asgardians. Am I going to be Thor's cousin, all that stuff, which is quite funny, and that's her geeking out. But that's interesting because the mist, in the comics, the mist is what brings out her powers, right? She's an inhuman, right?
That's right, yeah. It triggers
so this is a reference to that she's always had it, and the bracelet kind of triggered off those powers.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Text, they talk about the text on the thing, might be in Arabic or Urdu. I think we'll find out more about that later on.
Yeah.
During the training part when she fell off the building and Bruno held her.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You have to let me go." That was, I believe, a Black Widow reference.
Yeah, definitely, without doubt.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a bit. Well, she dies in that. It's a bit emotional, but it was a bit comedic. But anyway, it sounded just like Black Widow.
Yeah.
The mosque. So they go into the mosque. It's the first time they've shown a mosque and people doing prayers.
Yeah.
You know, you saw her doing the wudu, which is when you wash yourself to do your prayers. 5 times a day we pray. And then you have to wash yourself. There's a whole routine of washing yourself before you can pray, just so you're clean and whatnot. So they show that, they express that, they show them praying and and whatnot. They talk about women, the women's section in the mosque. So yes, the women's section in the mosque is split to men, and the imam expresses the partition is based on modesty and dignity. Now I appreciate they did that, right? Like, you know, people don't know. People assume, oh, women are in the back and blah, 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 blah. But I'm glad they took this opportunity. And that's why I feel like Disney has this platform that is important now, right? To express these sort of things. Now, of course, we want them to do it the right way. Yeah, and I feel like, yes, most of it that they're doing is right. And I'll talk about something in a bit that I thought that they could have done better at. Sorry, I'm just seeing Ashraf losing, man. Probably was dropped down the mountain. Ashraf plays game. Anyway, I think Disney's got this responsibility, right? Because they have this massive platform. They took this opportunity to explain why there's a partition in the mosque, and the Imam talks about is to keep our dignity and modesty. When I was in Dubai, I remember the Dubai tour guide said the same thing to some of the women that were with us in the tour guide. He goes, listen, the truth is, we, you know, the way we pray, we bend over, we go down to the floor. It will be very distracting if there was straight up, he said, if there was a beautiful woman in front of you praying in that manner, it would be very distracting for men. So it's because we're human. In the day, we're Muslim, doesn't mean we don't have certain desires and whatnot. So, you know, that's why there's a partition in the mosque. But in this, they were talking a bit more about how the women's part is not clean and so maybe some mosques do that. I mean, our mosque is new, so I don't believe it's clean and everything's even for both, but maybe some mosques they don't treat the women's side as cleanliness. But that's wrong. Obviously, it should be even Stevens. Even Stevens, but that was interesting. Her shoes got stolen. That reminded me of Dad when his shoes get stolen from the mosque. That's jokes.
Happened to him like 3 or 4 times, but that's standard. Anybody going in there with nice shoes, they're gone.
She wore Gucci shoes. Gucci. Your shoes are getting
Versace's, bro.
Versace's shoes get stolen, man. Straight up. Parents wanted to be safe. Oh, I thought that was an interesting conversation when she asked her parents, her mum, can I go to this party? And her mum kind of emphasised, look, at the end of the day, we just want you to be safe. So now there is this perception probably that, you know, it's Asians or Indians or Muslims, our parents don't want us to go out and have fun. They do. They just want us to be safe. They're over cautious about our safety.
Well, they are, and I feel like what they did with, like the last episode, I think there was a couple of videos that were out trying to say that she was a bad mum, and I think she wasn't a bad mum. She was just trying to protect her.
That's it. Yeah.
They said that she was. I don't know. Is that something like she was being a bad mum?
Like an overprotective mum that don't let her do.
But it's because of that and the world we live in, and they know the world we live in. And that's protection.
And that's literally what it is. Of course, protection against us as our physical being and all that stuff, and also to our imam, like, you know, make sure no haram corrupts our mind. That's a part of protection. But that's up to our parents to kind of educate us and put us in a position where nothing will affect our imam, you know?
That's right, yeah.
So that was the important point. Then they went to the party. This is my part where I felt a little bit fit. So this happens all the time. It just happened to me in New York. And it's happened to me my whole life. I'm sure it's happened to all of you. We go out with friends, you go out with work colleagues and whatnot, and they're always like, oh, you don't drink? Really? You don't drink alcohol? Blah, blah, blah. And then someone always tries to offer you a little drink. They try to be cheeky and say, oh, it's just juice, mate. It's just juice. Just drink it. Knowing that there's alcohol in it, right? Most of the people, they joke, right? But I think if I was to take the cup, they would never say, oh, no, I'm joking, mate. It's got alcohol. They'll let me drink it, right? That's the thing. But it's up to me to not drink it. So in this, they showed that scene, which happens. She took a sip. I believe that's two things. One being a teenager, we're just dumb, right? When you're young, you're just like, exactly. I believe you, or whatever it is. And two, I feel like there was a little bit of trust, but the thing that got me was when she drank it and it was alcohol in it. Her friend Bruno was like, "Why would you do that, man?" Like,
so he was more emotional than she was.
She took it kind of well. If that happened to me, I'd be really upset. If a friend done that to me, or someone at school or whatever, or work done that to me, and it had alcohol, I'll be upset. Yeah, man. I'll be like, why'd you do? I'll be
disciplinary at work, man.
Exactly.
Somebody getting chopped in the head.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like she didn't express much anger, and I thought that would have been a great opportunity for, as they talked about, we're going to talk about in a bit, but as they talk about the segregation in the mosque, they talk about the hijab, I thought this would have been a great opportunity to talk about why we don't drink. Yeah, why we don't drink alcohol. But they kind of brushed through that. And I thought that's an opportunity lost just to educate people why we don't drink alcohol. But that was my thing. I didn't think she expressed as much anger towards
that moment. Yeah.
drink alcohol. First time crushing on come on. Oh, come on. First time she had that crush. He jumps in the pool. And then shall I pause it? Let me pause it for a second. Alright, we are in a new location because Mr. Idris came upstairs to play some Xbox.
Yeah.
Alright, what were we talking about? We were talking about Kamran.
Yeah, Kamran, the new guy.
The new guy. First time we see him more, she talks to him. He's got a British accent and whatnot. Has a little crush. The animation is still on point.
Yeah,
to mention that the illustration
really
animation is still on point with this. Bruno is showing some jealousy. I mean, I think from the first episode we saw that he's already got a little crush on her.
Yeah.
But he's showing some jealousy and stuff. What are you talking about? Mean Streets. Oh no, wait. They talk a bit of Bollywood in the car.
That's right. Yeah, they drop him off because the police come.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yes, the police come or whatnot. So he drops her off. He drops them off or whatnot. We find out later on there's other secret agendas behind all of this, behind his involvement and whatnot.
That's right.
But during the car, they bond. They talk a bit of Bollywood, and Bruno's showing some jealousy. Kamran has an earring, which I think. What do you think, man? In Islam, we're not supposed to, right? But
no.
It's one of those things. Is it makhrud or something?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I've got Islamic friends.
It's a weird one. It's just yeah, it's one of those weird ones. But yeah, he shouldn't be piercing his ears, man. That's haram, bro, man. Don't mess around, bro.
I think that's one of those iffy ones where, like, maybe you shouldn't have had a guy with a Muslim dude with ears pierced. Just to, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna represent it right. Like I said, Disney, you have this platform, this huge platform to represent and to show representation and the real culture.
Yeah,
of course you got to do some things. Like I said, I think some things.
It's a bad boy, isn't it? It's a bad boy. So
yeah, little bad boy.
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know, bro. But I feel like some things you don't have to. You didn't really have to have an earring. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't have one, but. Alright, cool. The tune that she's obviously now got a crush. She's the tune from Mean Streets.
Oh no, we missed the part. Is that the part they talk about Kinga?
No, that's after.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. We'll get into that. Tune with Mean Streets, Be My Baby by Rosanette or whatever.
Yeah.
Good tune, you know. I kind of like it. When I watch Mean Streets, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, wicked film.
It's a wicked film.
But that tune reminds me of that. She expresses her. Again, I think that's a form of creative expression because you see the background with the illustration and stuff a little bit as well. But I think that's all a part of it. Be My Baby. Text message conversation again with him. And I love the way they do it.
They're really good. They smashed that.
It's like a comic book.
They made it like a comic book, yeah. Exactly.
Alright, then they're in school, and in the history class, and her friend Nakia, I think, says something about history by the oppressors. I think that's interesting, because we're going to talk a bit more about that later on when they talk about what the British did to the region of India and breaking it all up and causing issues and whatnot. But I think that's an interesting point. When you're in the West, maybe in the East as well, they talk about history only in their perspective. And I'm not saying the history that we get here is wrong. It's just one perspective.
One perspective.
And it would have been great if in the history curriculum they talk about all perspectives. I think that's the true meaning.
That's
of
something
history.
they need to is something they need to adapt to.
Definitely.
The problem is now that because it's systematically taught, and you're talking about 100 years, bro, of that madness in that history, coming from one perspective. We still got time, bro. We still got time.
I think so. I mean,
I ain't gonna be alive when that kind of happens. You know what I mean?
But the truth is, I don't think you can really learn true, full history in just school. You're gonna have to be a historian and do your own, go into it deep, like some of those real historians who check things from all perspectives. So really, in school, you are just gonna get the one perspective. That's right. You'll never get the full, and I think it's up to an individual if they're really interested to go research on the rest. Maybe the school system can do a little bit better, talk a little bit about the other perspective, but I mean, what can you cram in a 1 hour session anyway?
Exactly,
to be real,
that's what I'm saying.
But it's interesting that she does message it, and I do think there are some history that they should talk about, which we'll talk about in a bit. Alright, she gets a little cosmic nose, her powers and whatnot. She goes into the bathroom. Her friend offers her a tampon. Obviously, she feels like she's going through the women's cycle at the moment, which again, in our culture, you don't really talk about that. I don't know, like with females, I don't know, they don't really talk about that stuff, but obviously they're females, they're human beings, it happens to them too, guys, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's just letting them know that Muslims are not like mutants and whatnot, they have the same thing. Hijab, okay, this was an important part of the conversation. I thought this was brilliant, where Nakia talks about wearing the hijab, and she says it's not easy wearing it. It's not easy to be yourself, especially living in the Western world. But she felt like when she put it on, she didn't really need to prove anything to anyone. She puts on a hijab, she feels herself, she feels she has a purpose. I thought that was a beautiful moment to talk about.
It is.
Why Muslim females want to wear the hijab. It's not forced, because people have this perception that it's forced on them. No, it's not forced. And this was an expression of why she puts it on. She feels herself, and she feels like she has a purpose when she puts it on. Same way when you talk about the partition in the mosque, a beautiful way to express with this platform. Still, the alcohol one, I feel like they should have expressed that better.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, Bruno keeps dressing like Marty McFly. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, bro, I keep seeing this, and it's
he's wearing a red puffer jacket. I'm like, that's Marty, man.
Yeah.
Another Star Wars reference that the counselor makes, saying, do you want to be a Jedi and whatnot? So just because Disney own him and whatnot. Bruno doubts his future at Caltech. He gets this amazing opportunity. I wonder if Kamala's got something to do with that. He doesn't want to move away from her. Now she's got powers as well. Like, maybe he just wants to be involved.
Probably.
But I think we'll learn more about Bruno later on.
Definitely.
The Bollywood love vibe with Kamran. They got that going on. Her necklace, Ashraf says that she's got 3 necklaces, and one of them looks like either the Eye of Agamotto or the evil eye thing. That's
the evil eye.
Yeah, a lot of Turkish people.
Yeah, it's evil eye. Yeah.
Yeah, which basically which is kind of like a thing that keeps evil eyes away and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sher Khan. Okay, this is when they go on a little date thing, and they start talking about Sher Khan, who's a very, very famous Bollywood actor. Amitabh Bachchan for me is the one, but Sher Khan, I guess, to the younger generation, everyone knows who he is. Shah Rukh Khan, man.
Man, that's it.
And then, interesting one, I didn't even notice this until you said, they were talking about Kingo and their crush on Kingo, and I was like, who's Kingo? And you were like,
yeah, he's from the Eternals. So it's the first time any of the Phase 4 movies that I've linked, well, not linked, but just been announced, something said about it, basically.
In the Eternals, because if they've been around through the history, never been mentioned, but this is the first time. So obviously, in their community, they don't know he's a superhero, right? So she'll probably geek out. She'll geek out if she find out, but they know him as a Bollywood star, and talking about her mums have got crush on him and whatnot. I thought that was awesome. When you mentioned that got me, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So good connection to that. Okay, when she's on the date, hiding from my brother, I think that happens. I'm not gonna lie. I think especially with females, even as a dude, I think when I was on dates, I would kind of be a bit cautious. Any exposing myself on the internet, bro.
Any getting caught, bro. I've been caught several times.
I'm married now, bro. I'm married. I'm not getting caught in nothing, bro. But alhamdulillah. Yeah, but I think females do that a lot. They would have to hide away from a brother. What I thought was amazing was, or what I thought was great was, the brother's fiance. A lot of spoken about her. We finally see her. I don't know if you mentioned her name, but she's of African American descent, right?
Nice.
I think that's very important, because you know what? I'm gonna be real with it. Even in our cultures, there's racism against dark-skinned people, right? In Pakistan, in the Indian region as a whole. Right?
Yeah.
Just in general, everywhere I've been in the world, I've travelled, I've lived in Hong Kong, Singapore, wherever. The darker your skin, the less privilege you get. Simple. There's racism towards black skin, and I'm being across all boards of it. Not just, I'm being like, I'm not going to get too much about it. It's not just white people in America. It's across the board, I'm telling you. So the fact that she's black, I thought was brilliant. Because it's just showing that, Islam, in Islam, there is no colour, really. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all there's no class. There's so many things that, Muhammad, that's why Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, I was just talking about him the other day. He reverted from Nation of Islam to Islam, or I don't know if that's the right word, but he was always taught that white people are the devil until he went to Hajj, and he saw that these are my brothers, white people are my brothers and sisters out here, and then he saw the true Islam. So I thought that was an important part, that his fiance was a black Muslim. Where are we? Things got a British accent. We're going to talk about that a bit more. But basically, the British, they kind of messed up India and quite a few things in the world. But history is history, right? But the reason why India and Bangladesh, Pakistan are split and there was a civil war, the British's solution to everything was always segregate. Whereas Mahatma Gandhi wanted to unite everyone, right? And that was his thing. And the British, and not in the British, the European solution to everything was just segregate. And that caused a lot of issues, now with not this Indian region, but the Middle East, all that sort of stuff, man, Palestine, all that sort of stuff. So history is history. We can't change it. I always say this. I've benefited from history. Look at where I am today, right? But a lot of people haven't. So I don't know. I can't really speak much, and I don't know the full history. But the solution is not segregation. That's what we should learn from history.
Yeah. Of course not.
But anyway, he had a British accent. They called him Haram.Karma, and I thought that was quite funny. Haram on the internet was obviously Badusi. If you know what that means.
There's only going to be probably a handful of people that probably know what that means. But rest in peace to the guy Bernie Mac.
Oh man, he was the dude, yeah?
He was the dude, man. He was the dude. He was the one who said that word. It's been, forever in our vocabs ever since we saw that movie. It's called How to Be a Player. I can't remember the other actor's name. Anyway,
Haram.com. Moved to America. So the father, I thought this was great when they had dinner.
Yeah.
And the father expresses why they moved to America for their children to be
whoever they want.
Whoever they want to be.
That's right.
Because they were talking about the son who's very religious, but he went through a goth phase.
Yeah.
Right? So again, we're teenage kids, us Muslims, and yes, we learn our religion, blah blah blah. We go into school, you get influenced. We look at us, I'm wearing a Mandalorian t-shirt and we're geeking out about Marvel. Like, we still like that stuff. And I think they were expressing that even he was a goth and whatnot, and then he found his religious ways, and as you get older you get more mature anyway. So that's one of the things that I thought was a great conversation they had. The partition, now they spoke more about the partition, and this kind of leads into her grandmother's story and the bracelets and whatnot. We spoke about the British and what they did. Again, basic. The story of her great grandmother. Now we're getting a bit more understanding where these bracelets are coming from, and Kamala is getting more interested in her great grandmother, who her name is Aisha, I believe. At the dinner table, she went into her dimension world, the other world, and saw her great grandmother.
The ancestral plane.
But
we don't know if that's her grandmother.
That is true. Yeah, we don't know who that is.
That's not been confirmed, so we don't know.
Because if it's a great grandmother, either she's super old or the bracelet has made her young, which is a possibility too.
But
so she faints, and as she opens, there's a lot of Islamic stuff here where they're like, oh, the evil eye has got to bring the Zamzam. Zamzam water is basically holy water from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, from Mecca.
They read a very powerful dua. Dua is a prayer, and you use this prayer when you feel any time in danger. It's
Ayatul Kursi.
There you go. So they read that. So again, more of expression of our religion and stuff like that in regards to, evil eye and all that sort of stuff. So I thought that was great. Called her grandmother. She called her grandmother when she was in bed. Spoke about her bangle. So she's really getting into trying to figure out what it's about. Her great grandmother's name was Aisha. Okay, then the next scene they go into they're talking about the wedding songs or something like that, and they bring up Bon Jovi, the Prince, the Jersey. Again, I listen, Dad came to the country when he was 7, Bengali. Like, he even said he didn't even know that white people, black people, anyone existed outside of Bangladesh. He comes here, my guy's into World War II, cowboys, he listens to cowboy soundtracks. I think again this is an expression. Bob Marley, yeah, he's the boss, all of that. Again, this is an expression of us not liking other cultures' musics or whatever. In Islam, I guess a real Islamic dude would say music's haram, Bon Jovi be haram. But the fact is, again, if you like something, you like it.
We've adapted to it,
adapted. So this is an expression of even a Pakistani Muslim family could like Bon Jovi. Exactly. He represents New Jersey. There's a connection. They have a connection to New Jersey. You know what I mean? That's who they are.
Yeah.
So that was that expression. It's Eid. Bruno dressed up in the Eid thing, and we've had friends do that as well, which is a respect.
Yeah, you look cool, man.
Yeah, we have friends do that that respect our religions, and again, vice versa and whatnot. This was funny. Illuminantes.
The Illuminantes.
Just after Doctor Strange came out, I think that's a reference to the Illuminatis, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought that was awesome, Illuminantes.
Yeah.
They talk about different groups in the mosque. They kind of split up and whatnot, and you have that in every mosque. And again, people.
You got the aunties that gossip.
Yeah,
they're the ones.
That's it. I thought interesting when they spoke about the different groups. When they went to the converts.
Yeah.
They said actually it's the reverts, and that's exactly what we believe. We don't believe people convert into Islam. We believe they revert back to Islam. So that was a good thing that they mentioned. Okay. Groups to the mosque, converts. Nakia.
Nakia,
sorry. She's running for like a what do you call it?
Council. Board, yeah, like council in the mosque. Yeah.
So as a female, she was expressing women's rights to her uncle and gave him the guilt trip, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, I listen. Women's rights, not just in America, in Islam, and I'm not saying in Islam there's women problem. It's culture. Like, straight up, like what you hearing about Saudi Arabia and women just about to drive? That's not Islam. That's culture. You have to understand that in the Quran there's a whole verse about the Prophet Jesus' mum Mary. There's a whole quote about it, and a whole chapter about it. And in Islam, they say that your mother is worth 4 times more than your father. I don't know if that's the right quote or whatever, but she's worth more than your father. And heaven's gate is at the feet of your mother. Yeah. So the female has such a is so big in Islam, but the perception and the media is always kind of pull it as us Muslims treat women bad.
That's culture. That's culture. That's where people are from. That's culture. That's got nothing to do with religion. That's got nothing to do with
religion. It's all got to do. And don't forget, man, Henry VIII beheaded all his wives because they gave him girls, right? And he wanted boys. Don't forget, in China there was a one kid policy. People just throw girls away, right? So this is culture. It's got nothing to do with Islam. So just let's, So I think it's very important.
That's people.
Yeah,
that is genuinely people.
But now people are learning.
You gotta learn today.
You gotta learn today. Okay, cut from Spider-Man. Then we go to the scene where the detective, whatever he is, the agent from Spider-Man, is interrogating her. What's her name? Zoe. And he uses the same strategy he uses against Ned. Kind of geeks out and oh my god, you got all these followers, blah blah blah, and then she ends up exposing herself. That's like a Black Widow thing. Black Widow's great at interrogating in her way. He's got his own style that he does. He done that with Ned. He mentions enhanced individuals. Enhanced. We heard that first with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in Avengers. Yeah. Mutants, really, that's their names, but enhanced in this sense will be Inhumans, I guess, because of Kamala Khan, right? Yeah. Enhanced will try to kill you. It's interesting that he forced that the enhanced individual try to kill you. Like, he's got something against him. So I'm still trying to figure out what his corporation's about. Or I don't know if it's linked to S.H.I.E.L.D. because
I don't think it's S.H.I.E.L.D. The S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist in the MCU now, does it?
It does not, but,
Sword.
Maybe, yeah. But, I mean, like, he keeps talking about the enhanced individual try to kill you rather than... he's gone to the back. He's like, where Nick Fury's like, I'm going to use this person as a hero type thing. So, interesting. We'll find out more about them, I think. Again, the other agent comes in. They talk about, she tries to interrogate her, say what culture she's from. She mentions Latino, but then she goes, oh, I think it's called Latinx now. That's the right word to be using. South Asian. And then she kind of clocked it was her. So then they said, look, we need to go out to and send out agents to all different temples and stuff like that. And then he hesitates and then he says mosques. And then he references to her, said, be respectful with the mosque because as we already know, the FBI is already surveillance of mosques. I think that's a very important thing as well. Because we're unnecessary surveillance just because of terrorism. Not saying that doesn't exist, but we get generalized. I mean, in the US now, I mean, I don't want to go deep into it, but the biggest terrorists, as we've seen, is teenage kids, white kids, most specifically. But anyway, I won't go crazy into that. But we, as Muslims, we are getting watched constantly. So I love the fact they did say, like, just be a bit more respectful because we're watching them again. So I do like the way the messaging that they're putting out there. And again, this is education, not to us, but any other Marvel fan who doesn't know what Muslims might go through. This is a bit of education to them. So
no, of course.
So again, Marvel's got a platform and they got a lot of responsibility when they do this.
Exactly.
All right. More stories about a great grandmother. She's talking to her aunties, the Illuminatis. They keep talking like great aunties are doing what aunties do. So many rumors. She brought shame on the family. She cheated. She got another family. She killed someone. All these rumors. Aunties just do what aunties do. But she's trying to discover more to find out what's happening. And then a little boy, some fool, takes selfies on the roof and whatnot. He deserves to drop. Idiot. Where's his parents anyway?
Near a window as well. Well, outside. He was already outside. He had half his leg out.
There? Yeah, I don't know.
My guy was using Snapchat.
Do you know what? My dad would have, if I got saved, my dad would have beat me more for doing something as stupid as that. Anyway, so he drops. So it's a moment for Kamala Khan to shine.
Yeah.
One quick thing, she quickly turns into a costume. She didn't have no bags like she had it on. She ran home, put a costume on. It happened in a matter of seconds, right? You made a great reference there, or a point to that. You said that she should have put a scarf on her face.
She should have. I think that would have been more meaningful. if she just wrapped her scarf around her head or around her face. But then she could have looked like Terrorist Games.
Well, again, terrorist.
Well, depends. You know what? This is the thing, though. Yeah. Anyway, but I think it would have been more meaningful if she put the headscarf on, covering her face, and saving the kid.
Yeah.
And that'd be a bit. I feel like that would have been a better true calling.
Yeah, to her original costume that comes out later.
Yeah.
Also, the only thing is maybe because she was wearing her clothes, they would have been like, "Oh, that's Kamala." Like, so she doesn't want to expose it yet.
No, but I can totally understand that.
Did get changed like that, and she ain't got super speed, as we've already confirmed.
She ain't got super speed. So anyway, so that happened, and then
so she saves the boy.
Ice cream and pizza and ice cream.
Pizza and ice cream. That's a thing. That's a funny. I don't know if that's a thing out there, but people, I don't know.
People do it.
She does a superhero landing, a specific Black Widow one that her sister, Black Widow's sister, was taking exactly that specific one. So there's couple of Black Widow references on this. Oh wait,
it's a love letter, bro. These shows are a love letter from a fan, and it's represented. It's like us, but represented in her.
That's what
it's things we would do if we had those powers or if we lived in that world. So that's what I love about this show as well. It's a love letter to what we've already gone through with the journey, but just shown in a different format.
You know what? It's a great point, and also it shows that even this Pakistani girl, even that she had a bit of doubts that I'm a brown Pakistani girl, I can't be a suit. She still took representation from Black Widow and Captain Marvel, who she loves, and so as we were talking about, you can feel representation from any character, right? Captain America, be it Sam Wilson or Steve Rogers, I could take representation of that's an honourable man that just wants to do the right thing and help people. Of course, you can be represented by that. You just obviously culture and whatnot you can't, but
that's right.
You can take representation from all other stuff. So anyway, that's a good point. She takes representation from all of them because she's a fan. And then then that agent starts chasing her. Interest in the tech that they're using looks like the Stark tech that from Far From Home that Spidey had control of, or Mysterio eventually took control of, but it looks like that same drone technology.
Exactly.
Which is interesting how they got their hands on it.
Yep.
And then Kamwan's mom. Okay, and then at the end, Kamwan picks her up, and Kamwan's mom looks like the woman, the visions that she keeps seeing, either her great grandmother, who's young now, or we'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
So yeah, and that was it. And then in the last ending sequence, whatnot, you see a trustable thing that goes. I love that they keep the connections, man. That's just the best thing ever, man.
Did they have an end credit scene?
Did they? No, I don't think so.
Oh, right, not in this one. No. Oh. I thought they did.
Did they? No, I don't think so.
Did they have one on the last one? They did.
Yeah, they did on the first one. Did they have them on this one?
No, we didn't check it.
How do you know they had it?
I don't know. Lose. Okay.
Disney Plus.
We'll go check it now, man.
Alright, we'll check up. If there is, then we missed it.
We missed it, yeah.
But that's our breakdown review. Any other thoughts, Gibbs? Anything I messed up?
No. I think great episode 2. It's good to see what they've done so far. Like, it's been, to be honest, like I've been reading up a lot about this, and I think because it's got that connection to us as well. And a lot of people giving it bad reviews. IMDb is one of the worst things. Blah blah blah, and it continues and it continues. But what it's done as a community is amazing, because people have popped out of the blue. Like our TikTok feed has been mad at the moment, and I can't thank you guys enough who's transferred over from TikTok to the YouTube page, and stand up for the diversity, understand more about the Islamic religion, the people, and there's certain people that have come in. She drank the drink like nothing, and I said I could totally understand that. I would have freaked out. I would have been a bit more angry about the situation. But it's a TV show. It is a TV show. It's not going to be 100% representative, because again, it's entertainment. And remember, you're bringing in new crowds, so it's going to bring in not just the South Asian Muslim community and South Asians in general, but it's going to bring everybody else together and try and enjoy it. So I've seen some good stuff, I've seen some bad stuff, but overall, as I said, this is a fan love letter.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I do think the alcohol part, they could have just used that to express it a little bit more. I spoke about it earlier. I think I would have freaked out a lot more. Trust me. So I get it. Getting chopped. Yeah, but also, I heard about the reviews or whatnot. Listen, if you think the show's shit, that's cool. If you're giving it a review, I hate it because she's Muslim, then you got issues, right? But if you just think the show's crap, then yeah, that's cool. And I'm sure there's a lot of Muslims that might be giving it bad reviews too, because like haram, bad review. So that could be happening too. But in general, man, I think it was a great show. Listen, I don't know, I'm going to be honest with you. If it wasn't a Marvel and not connected to MCU, would I watch it? I don't know. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like I say, Marvel has got this massive responsibility to represent correctly. They got this massive platform to express our culture and our religion. I just hope they can carry on doing it right. But I don't think it'll ever be 100% right.
No, it's never going to be.
Because I tell you what, if it was 100% right, there probably wouldn't be a show. Because you don't do a show on Islam or whatever. You know what I mean?
Man, there's that film that came out, Lady of Heaven or something. Everybody trying to boycott it at the moment.
Oh yes, about the Jesus' mum or something?
No, Prophet's wife. Yeah, Prophet's wife, and they show the Prophet and everything.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, you don't do that.
You don't do that.
You don't do that.
Don't do that.
So
man. They'll mess you up, man.
Yeah, I don't know why people do it. I mean, as long as I mean, again, if it's disrespectful, then you got issues. If it's not, you should just know. You should just don't touch that, man. I think I'm gonna be real. If I could be a second, like, man, with all due respect, the reason why with Christianity, you know, Hollywood and whoever's just been making jokes and this and that, and no one's really stepped up and said you can't do that. And of course, you shouldn't step up in a violent way. I'm just saying,
no, of course not.
Never. But you know, the Muslims are just saying, look, we don't want to allow you to just get comfortable to making videos about the Prophet and store it. No, like that's not something to make revenue off. Yeah. We don't want to be depicted in any way. Just don't do it. Again, people who do violent acts, you're fucked up. You've got issues.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But yes, we should stand up and say no, that's not allowed. But anyway, I'm loving the show. But listen, I'm saying it now. Carol Danvers is showing up at the end. I'm telling you now, and that's it.
You know what? I'll agree with you on that. Carol and Monica Rambeau.
They're showing up at this end.
Is it Monica Rambeau?
One of them will. I reckon Monica Rambeau, yeah.
Is that the daughter's name?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I actually reckon she will be, yes, it'll be Monica Rambeau. I don't think it'll be Carol. Anyway, either one of those two are showing up at the end of this show.
Alright, cool. Yeah, awesome. Alright guys, massive thank you again as always. Make sure you click the like button, share, subscribe, notification bell, dislike, give us a nasty comment or something. But yeah, massive thank you as always. And make sure you check us out on our socials. The Brothers Geek Out Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Alright guys, one love. Peace.
I thought you were going to go press stop.